Hi, I've been documenting the prostitute squatter scam, uh, and this latest case I've documented. What's special about it was the squatter was referred to me by a owner of a sober house living facility. Ray from Orion Sober House Living referred this client to me saying she needs transitioning from a sober house living place, and she needs a place to stay just for 2 days until the other location is available for her. So that's an obvious method. It's only 2 days, so you're not at risk, and so it gets her foot in the door. And the thing is, that client had a sponsor, and the sponsor is Ray's girlfriend. So that's further assurance I have his support. He owns a sober house living facility, and his girlfriend, who is the sponsor of this client. So all of these methods are showing that the sponsor and the squatter are methodically using these techniques, testing me and provoking me to perform a scam together that looks like they've been doing, the expert at doing together. The fact that this is performed by a person claiming to be the sponsor, keeps saying, this is my baby, and then she's the girlfriend of a sober house living facility owner. And then so I've documented all these methods, and then so I know from previous horrible experience that the cops know about this, and they intentionally support these scams. The cops with the uniforms and the badges that we trust them with to protect us are partnering with prostitute squatter scammers to perform these cruel scams on people trying to help girls with addiction issues. So, and then I have it all of these methods, I'm documenting them, and then they're all spelled out. If you check the background of this perpetrator, her sponsor, and Orion Sober House Living Facility owner, have they been at the previous places this person has occupied? I mean, and then all of the methods has she used the same on previous addresses she stayed at. She says her daughter has size E breast. You want to have sex with my daughter, so that she can framing you as that wasn't underage. She did say there were two daughters. The other one's 17. So she's trying to frame you for pedophilia. She asked you to want to have sex with my daughter who has size E breasts, and she's 17, to frame you for pedophilia. So I'm very well familiar with all these methods. And the other sign is that the sponsor was intentionally not answering any statement I was making. Anything I would say, she would say a reply that had no relevance to what I was saying. That's the first sign of abuse, when someone is intentionally and persistently, consistently not hearing you. And then at the first moment she moved in, the the client said move the car forward in the alley to be right next to a trash bin to put the trash in the car into that trash bin. We were putting when the sponsor came, so there's flies coming in from that trash bin. She had the door open and she was repeatedly using this method, keeping the door open so I would drive, so that she would say, "Oh, you, my foot." Had that method used on me numerous, and she was using it repeatedly. So I couldn't. She was saying the flies are coming in from the trash bin, but she wouldn't let me move further because the door of the car was open. She wouldn't close it. So, and then she started saying, "You're not going to be controlling us. You're not going to." So she was testing me. And there's several things going on right there. The moment she stepped in. So these methods I'm well familiar with because I've had them perpetrated on me so much, and I'm documenting the use the and then throughout that journey to my house, from the house of the sponsor, I was going through the agreement. The number one thing is I was saying there needs to be communication, and that when there's a concern in a house, in between two people, the other person hearing that concern is of paramount importance. And then I have this agreement that's the number one thing. If there's abuse and you're not acknowledging it, that's nothing can go right there. That's the number one thing in the agreement. I wrote it on the wall, and they would repeatedly refuse to acknowledge that. The sponsor wasn't listening. I said there has to be one other person, a third person. I wanted to go to one of these 12-step places and get a new sponsor that would listen. There has to be a third person with the client in daily meetings, so that she can't just keep on saying anything she wants without accountability. I have that from the experience with my mom, who if you're working with a narcissist who's doing this, who's hurting you, using you as narcissistic supply, you have to have a third person in a meeting where, when you say a statement, writes down the answer to hold that person accountable. If she can just say anything she wants and then she tells it to the cops, and there's no accountability at all, then you have no control at all. There has to be a third person in meetings together, writing down the response to hold the perpetrator accountable. And they just refused that. Every statement I made to the sponsor, she was completely ignoring. And throughout that journey, she would say to her squatter partner, something in my computer that's a very minor, trivial thing about her phone wasn't working. She kept interrupting, but I was making these important statements about to make sure that this interaction is valid and not abusive. As I was saying, the highest priority is there's no abuse here. I'm not trying to control anybody. That's not my concern. I want to make sure there's no abuse, that it's fair. That's the highest priority, and I ensure fairness with communication. When you're able to hear, or I'm able to hear your concern and acknowledge it and correct the behavior that's unfair, that ensures that this interaction is fair. That's the number one thing. And I had explained that to the Justine Taylor when she was moving in. So they don't want to acknowledge that. And every statement she was ignoring, obviously there's abuse. And it's methodical. That's what's about it. All of these methods used methodically in conjunction with the cops cooperating with it. So I'm documenting it, presenting to you here.